What if everything you believe about reality is completely wrong? What if the world you think you're touching, building, surviving in is nothing more than a thin layer of illusion floating over a deeper, unseen structure of consciousness? Today, I'm going to reveal a truth hidden inside the quantum field, a truth so powerful, so radically different from everything you've ever heard, that it may fracture the way you understand your own existence. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because once you hear this, your mind will never be the same again. You've felt it your entire life, that quiet sense that something is off, that the world doesn't behave the way everyone we say it should. Moments where your intuition whispers louder than logic, where your emotions shift your reality almost instantly, where coincidences follow you like breadcrumbs leading toward an invisible pattern. You've seen numbers repeating, dreams that felt like warnings, thoughts that manifested before you could explain them, and a deep, unshakable suspicion that your consciousness is far more powerful than anyone ever admitted. And maybe you've kept all of this in silence because no one around you seemed to notice the same thing. But here's the truth you've been waiting for. You're not imagining nothing. You are experiencing the bleed-through of the quantum field, the realm where your vibration, frequency, and subconscious mind influence your reality long before you take any physical action. Because beneath this physical world, beneath every choice you make, beneath every emotion that rises and every thought that flickers in your mind, there is an invisible architecture, a hidden reality woven entirely from consciousness, quantum consciousness. Something ancient, massive, and infinitely intimate, something that responds to you, not to your words, not to your wishes, but to the silent frequency you carry within. And the reason you're here, listening to this right now, is because part of you has already started waking up. That's the first sign of spiritual awakening, the moment in which your external world begins to fall apart, not because you are lost, but because your consciousness is expanding, beyond the small space in which you were confined to live. And the strangest part, the moment you begin to awaken, the quantum field begins to respond. Synchronicities multiply, patterns emerge, people you haven't thought about in years suddenly reach out. You feel connected to something you cannot explain, and disconnected from everything you once believed was solid. It feels like a fracture, but it's not. It's a doorway into the realm where your thoughts are not passive, where your emotions are not accidents, where your subconscious mind is not a storage room for old memories. It is the engine that shapes the timeline you experience. Most people never cross that doorway. They spend their entire lives believing they are victims of circumstance, prisoners of fate, observers trapped inside a movie they didn't choose to watch. But you started asking questions. You started noticing the glitches. You started feeling the silent pulse of the universe behind every moment of your day. And that's why the quantum field opened a path that led you here. Because once you see the truth behind the illusion, once you understand how consciousness interacts with reality, nothing stays the same. Not your identity, not your desires, not your possibilities. Everything changes, because everything has always been more malleable than you were told. And as you listen to these words, something inside you is remembering, not learning, remembering. Because the knowledge of how reality works has always been inside you, buried beneath years of beliefs that were never truly yours. And now, as you feel your awareness expand, as that subtle electricity rises along your skin, as your mind tries to reconcile what it feels with what it once believed, you are already beginning to activate a part of yourself that has been dormant for lifetimes. This is not just information. This is initiation, a recalibration of your perception, a shift in your vibrational state, a moment in which the quantum field aligns to your consciousness because you finally aligned with it. And the secret I'm about to reveal, the one hidden beneath science, beneath spirituality, beneath every mystical tradition and every quantum experiment, is the missing piece that connects all of your experiences, all of your doubts, all of your awakenings into one undeniable truth. A truth that will change the way you see the universe and the way the universe responds to you. Because what comes next goes far beyond anything you've ever been told, anything you've ever believed, anything you've ever dared to imagine. Because what comes next goes far beyond anything you've ever been told, anything you've ever believed, anything you've ever dared to imagine. And it begins with a truth so simple, yet so profoundly overlooked, that most people spend their entire lives trying to survive inside an illusion built from outdated beliefs. Most of the world still thinks reality is fixed, solid, unchanging, as if everything that exists is locked into dense matter, governed by rigid physical laws that have nothing to do with consciousness. We grow up hearing that thoughts are just thoughts, that emotions are nothing but chemical reactions, and that the subconscious mind is a passive vault of memories with no real influence on the physical world. This limited paradigm created a humanity disconnected from itself, trapped in a logic that cannot answer the deeper questions about purpose, perception, energy, and meaning. And because of that, countless people wake up every day with a silent ache, the sense that something essential is missing, that they're somehow living the wrong life, misaligned from their true frequency. Imagine opening your eyes one morning and realizing that everything you've taken as truth was only a thin veil, a partial narrative hiding a much larger hidden reality. Imagine discovering that your choices were never entirely yours, that much of what you call destiny is simply subconscious programming replaying old patterns, echoes from a version of you that no longer matches who you're becoming. The emptiness that so many feel, that quiet sense of disconnection, of being out of rhythm with the world, of life lacking depth or color, comes from the collision between what we were taught to believe and what our quantum consciousness already knows in silence. When your awareness begins to expand, that friction intensifies. You don't understand why the world feels heavier, why your emotions feel deeper, why your perception seems sharper yet more unsettling, why your frequency no longer resonates with the people and spaces it once did. But this is the first stage of the spiritual awakening process. The moment when the quantum field pushes against your old internal structures and invites you to step beyond them. You're moving through that threshold now. And as you navigate this space between the reality you inherited and the reality you're beginning to perceive, it's natural to need a place where you can breathe, understand, exchange, expand. That's why this channel exists. To create a conscious field where you don't just watch, you resonate, you reflect, you rise. A space where every comment becomes part of a larger energetic flow, where every like signals to the algorithm and to the quantum field itself that this message matters, that it needs to reach more people who are awakening. Not because we're chasing metrics, but because aligned consciousnesses amplify each other. The energy of a collective shapes the reality it touches, and your presence in this space strengthens that field. So if something here speaks to you, if it feels like I'm describing a part of your inner world you've never been able to express, share your experience in the comments. Let this community feel your frequency. Like the video so this resonance continues to spread. Subscribe if you want to walk this path with clarity, depth, and consciousness. Because what I'm about to reveal next goes even deeper, and we're only beginning to peel back the first layer of the hidden reality that has always surrounded you, waiting for the exact moment you were ready to see it. Ready to see it. And here is the part most people never hear. Reality is not happening to you from the outside in. Reality is rising out of you from the inside out. What you call the world is not just matter arranged in space. It is the visible trace of invisible patterns in the quantum field, constantly responding to your consciousness, your vibration, your emotional frequency, your subconscious mind. In other words, you are not just walking through reality. You are, at every moment, helping to collapse it into form. Think of the quantum field as an ocean of pure potential, a sea of infinite possibilities, vibrating just beyond the edge of your ordinary perception. Every thought you think, every emotion you allow, every belief you hold, is like a stone dropped into that ocean. The ripples move outward, interacting with other waves of energy, and eventually return to you as people, situations, synchronicities, chances that seem random but are anything less than random. This is quantum consciousness in action, your inner state organizing the outer movie. And suddenly, things you always called it a coincidence, they begin to make sense in a frighteningly logical way. Science has already shown us that at the smallest scales, particles behave like waves of probability until observed. The act of observation changes the outcome. Now imagine that your perception, your attention, your subconscious patterns are a constant observation, an ongoing measurement shaping which version of reality becomes solid for you. This is the hidden reality behind your everyday life, not a rigid, predetermined path, but a fluid landscape in which consciousness, frequency, and energy silently negotiate what you experience next. It contradicts almost everything you were taught in school, and that's exactly why your mind resists. but a deeper part of you recognizes the resonance. If this idea makes you feel a mix of excitement and discomfort, that's a good sign. That tension is your old paradigm cracking. Your expansion of consciousness begins right where your certainty ends. And you don't have to go through this alone. This channel is meant to be a living field where we explore this quantum reality together, where your questions, your experiences, your insights become part of a shared experiment in awareness. When you comment, you're not just engaging a video. You're anchoring your frequency inside a community that is consciously reprogramming how it relates to reality. When you like or subscribe, you are literally choosing to keep this information inside your field, telling your subconscious mind, this matters. I want more of this level of perception. So if something in you is vibrating differently right now, honor that. Tell me in the comments what this new paradigm stirs inside you. Add your energy to this space, not out of obligation, but as a deliberate act of alignment. Join the channel, stay close to this frequency, because in the next part we're going to go even deeper into how this quantum field interacts with your everyday choices, and how a single shift inside you can begin to rewrite the script of the reality you thought was fixed. Rewrite the script of the reality you thought was fixed. And the moment you begin to sense that possibility, something subtle but undeniable starts to shift inside you. This is where transformation truly begins, not out there in the external world, but in the silent territory of your inner landscape, where your perception, your vibration, and your subconscious patterns quietly shape everything you encounter. The quantum field doesn't respond to who you pretend to be. It responds to the frequency you actually hold. And once you understand that, every thought, every emotion, every intention becomes a point of creation. Imagine someone standing at the edge of their life, feeling the weight of repetition, the heaviness of choices that seem predetermined. Let's call her Claire. For years, she woke up feeling trapped inside a loop she couldn't explain. The same arguments, the same disappointments, the same emotional patterns replaying like scenes from a movie she never chose. On the surface, nothing was wrong, but internally, she felt the unmistakable pull of a deeper truth trying to surface. One night, overwhelmed by that invisible pressure, she finally asked the question that cracks open the hidden reality. What if the problem isn't the world? What if the problem is the frequency I'm living from? That single moment of awareness became her turning point. She began observing her own thoughts, noticing how quickly her mind slipped into fear, comparison, scarcity. She realized her subconscious mind had been collapsing the same version of reality over and over because it didn't know anything else. So she experimented with one simple shift. Instead of reacting, she paused. Instead of assuming the worst, she breathed. Instead of absorbing the energy around her, she adjusted her own vibration first. And slowly, almost invisibly, the field around her started to reorganize. People treated her differently. Opportunities appeared. Conflicts dissolved. It wasn't magic. It was resonance. The moment she changed her internal frequency, the quantum field responded in kind. Her story is not extraordinary. It's natural. It is exactly how consciousness interacts with the world, whether we're aware of it or not. And the same shift is available to you. When you start paying attention to your inner state before you take action, when you choose intention over autopilot, when you observe your reality instead of reacting to it, the world around you begins to mirror a different version of yourself. This is the essence of quantum consciousness, the recognition that your life is not defined by circumstances, but by the vibration you bring into them. As you let this awareness settle, notice what it stirs inside you. Notice the part of you that already knows this, that has always felt the truth hidden beneath the surface of the physical world. If something here resonates deeply, share your experience in the comments. This community grows through authentic presence, through the energy you bring into the field. Like the video to strengthen this resonance, and subscribe so you stay connected to this frequency of awakening. Because in the next part, we will explore how these subtle internal shifts can escalate into something far greater. A complete reorientation of your perception, the moment where the hidden architecture of the quantum field becomes visible, and the reality you once accepted begins to reveal its deeper layers, until the hidden architecture of the quantum field becomes visible, and the reality you once accepted begins to reveal its deeper layers. And as you stand at this threshold, you can feel something shifting inside you, subtle at first, like a quiet trembling beneath the surface of your awareness, and then more unmistakable, as if a deeper intelligence within you is finally beginning to speak. This is the moment where understanding becomes embodiment, where the idea of quantum consciousness stops being a concept and starts becoming a lived perception. You begin to sense the field not as an abstract theory, but as an active presence moving around you, responding to you, shaping the pathways that unfold in front of you. It's almost like feeling the temperature of a room change before anyone else notices. The quantum field reacts to the slightest change in your internal frequency, adjusting, rearranging, reorganizing possibilities long before they reach the surface as events. And once you realize this, once you truly feel the pulse of the hidden reality beneath everything you touch, you understand that nothing in your life has ever been random. Every challenge, every repeated pattern, every unexpected opportunity, every emotional storm was a mirror of your internal vibration, a reflection of the energy your subconscious mind has been broadcasting into the field for years. This is why the awakening process can feel disorienting. As your perception expands, the world you thought was solid begins to feel fluid. Beliefs you carried for a lifetime loosen their grip, old stories dissolve, and something inside you, something ancient, intuitive, deeply connected to the fabric of existence, begins to rise. You start noticing the intelligence in your emotions, the precision of your intuition, the way your energy shifts a room before you even speak. You realize your thoughts have weight, your feelings have direction, and your vibration has power. And this recognition changes everything, because you are no longer a passive observer trapped inside a fixed world. You are an active participant in a living field of possibilities. But this is only the beginning. There is a deeper layer of this reality hidden that few ever access, a layer where the illusion of matter dissolves and the true nature of existence becomes visible. It is the layer where the mind's old programs are exposed, where the subconscious no longer hides behind routine, where the very structure of perception begins to rewire itself, and you are already moving toward it. You can feel it in the way your thoughts linger differently, in the way your body reacts when something resonates, in the way your awareness stretches just a little further each time you allow yourself to question what you once took for granted. In the next chapter, we are going to step directly into that deeper layer. We're going to explore the single mistake almost everyone makes when trying to navigate the physical world, the fundamental error that keeps the mind trapped inside a narrow version of reality. And once you understand this, once you see how the illusion of matter has shaped your entire life, you will begin to free yourself from a prison you never realized you were in. That shift alone can change the way you create, the way you connect, the way you exist. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. If something in this awakening resonates, if you can feel your frequency shifting even slightly, share it in the comments. Write, "I awaken," "I see beyond," or "I am expanding," so your intention echoes in this field. Your words carry energy, and that energy amplifies the entire community. And when you're ready, we will step together into the next revelation.